Okay, hello everybody. For today, you were supposed to complete this Part B data table. Hopefully, those PDFs that I shared with the DNA samples on them weren't too confusing. I thought that would be the best way to do it. But if you did those correctly, let's check your numbers and look at your differences. So take a minute and check your charts and see what they have in common. Make sure you didn't make any mistakes. If you did make mistakes, I want you to go back and see what you did wrong. The thing that you should notice when you look at this data table is that we figured out that a platypus is a mammal. And if you look and compare them to whales and horses, there are no differences there, right? Okay, so it's really interesting that the more similar the animals are to their vertebrate class, the less differences they have in their DNA. So that's a fun thing to do. You can kind of look and see how much of your DNA is similar to other animals. Let me give you some examples. Okay, so here are some really good examples of how closely related humans are to other living things. So if you compare one human to the next, you or I or you or any other human on the planet are approximately 99.9% the same genetically. So out of our DNA, it's these very little teeny tiny changes that make us so different and cause all that variation that we have. But really, our genetic code is very similar. Our next living relative that's similar to us is chimpanzees. And we have found that chimpanzees share 96% of our DNA. So a large chunk of their DNA matches ours. Cats, domesticated cats, have 90% of the same DNA as us. Mice have 85% of the same DNA as us. Domesticated cattle that are owned by farmers, they have 80% of the same DNA as us. Now, when we get to insects, those animals are a lot less closely related to us because they are no longer mammals. So if we look at fruit flies, they only have 61% of the same DNA as us. You can look at some birds. Chickens, for example, have 60% of the same DNA as us. And here's a fun fact. Bananas. Bananas have DNA because they're a living thing. They're a plant. Bananas have 60% of their DNA the same as ours. So we can trace DNA patterns in all living things and find the percentage of DNA that different species have in common. And that's what you did here. That's all that you did is you looked at one particular gene and you saw how similar and how different animals' DNA is. And then we can use that information to make evolutionary relationships, and we can figure out how closely related we are genetically to different species and how those species are related to each other. And it's one of the scientists' biggest tool in evolutionary thought and proving how evolution has occurred through time. Okay? So, what you're going to do for the rest of the day is I'd like you to do analysis questions 1, 2, and 4 in your notebook. And obviously, we're on the honor system, but I really would like you to still write in complete sentences. We will go over those answers tomorrow, and you will have to do a graded exit ticket. So, it's important tomorrow. You'll do that exit ticket tomorrow. It's important that you try to answer these questions as best as you can so that you can ask questions to me if you have any questions. So for tonight, I just want you to do those 3 analysis questions. That's it. Do your best answer that you can come up with. Ask for help if you need it. And then we will look at the answers tomorrow. Okay? Thanks, guys. Have a great day.